You know, in comic books, death is kind of a revolving door, right? A hero dies, and we all just start a countdown clock until they come back. But what if that door slammed shut? What if every hero who ever died came crawling back, not to be saved, but to tear apart everything they ever loved? Well, that's what we're diving into today. DC's absolute horror masterpiece, Blackest Night.
And that's really the heart of it. Think about it. The entire history of superheroes is just soaked in loss. Parents, partners, friends, whole cities gone. That tragedy is what forges these heroes. But Blackest Night, it takes all that history, all that pain, and it turns it into a weapon aimed right at their hearts.
I mean, really think about that question. Imagine the person you miss the most. Their face, their voice, all their memories. And now imagine that being used to absolutely gut you emotionally. This was never just about fighting zombies. It's a full-on war against your own grief.
Okay, so to really get how this nightmare plays out, you have to understand the engine driving it all. For years, DC was building up this amazing idea that raw emotion, pure, unfiltered feeling, actually generates power across a whole spectrum of light.
And this is so cool. Each color is its own power source, its own army. You've got red, which is pure rage, so intense its users literally vomit napalm blood. Orange is avarice or greed, and it's so all-consuming that only one person in the entire universe can wield it at a time. Yellow, of course, is fear, used by the Sinestro Corps. Right in the middle, you have green. That's good old-fashioned willpower, the Green Lanterns we know and love. Then there's blue for hope, which actually supercharges green, indigo for compassion, and violet for a powerful, almost possessive kind of love. 7 colors, 7 massive armies powered by feeling.
And then there's the opposite of all of that. The opposite of light, of color, of feeling. Black. The absolute void. This isn't just another color to add to the list. It's the end of the list. It's the ultimate cosmic bad guy, death itself.
See, there was this ancient prophecy that foretold the Blackest Night, a time when death would finally rise up and just extinguish all life and light. And the force behind it is a being called Nekron, the Lord of the Unliving. His goal isn't to rule the universe, he wants to erase it. He's basically entropy with a really bad attitude.
Now, Nekron is this huge cosmic idea, right? So he needs a guy on the ground, a physical anchor. He finds one in this really disturbed man named William Hand, who becomes his agent, Black Hand. And it's through him that Nekron unleashes his ultimate weapon, the Black Lantern rings. And of all the days for it to start, it begins on the anniversary of Superman's death, a day already marked by tragedy. Suddenly, these Black Lantern rings just shoot across the cosmos, seeking out the dead. Every single tomb, every grave, suddenly becomes an enemy base.
So here's the truly twisted part. These aren't resurrections, they're puppets. The rings reanimate the corpses and download all their memories, so they know exactly what to say to provoke the biggest emotional response. Love, rage, fear, anything. Because that feeling is literally what they feed on. The more you feel, the stronger they get. It's a perfect, horrifying psychological trap.
And the first wave hits hard. Aquaman, the King of Atlantis, rises from his grave. He confronts his wife, Mera, and uses their entire shared history, all their love, as a weapon to just tear her apart emotionally. It's chilling.
Then, John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, comes back. He was literally the heart and soul of the Justice League, and now he's this hollowed-out monster, turned against his best friends, taunting them with things only he would know.
Oh, this one is just brutal. Elongated Man and his wife Sue Dibney, their murder in the Identity Crisis storyline was one of the most heartbreaking moments in DC history. And they're brought back together as these ghoulish predators, mocking the incredible love that defined their entire lives.
Hawkman and Hawkgirl, the eternal lovers destined to find each other in every life, are reanimated to hunt down their allies. The list just goes on and on and on. A relentless tide of your greatest heroes twisted into your worst nightmares. And just when you think, okay, this can't possibly get any worse, Nekron plays his trump card. And this is the moment the whole game changes, when the heroes go from fighting a desperate war to facing complete and total annihilation.
This quote, this explains everything. Nekron reveals that every hero who has ever died and come back to life, and trust me, that is a long list in the DC universe, was only allowed to return. He secretly placed a little tether inside them, a connection back to his realm of death. They were sleeper agents, and they never even knew it.
And then he pulls the trigger. In an instant,
Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Arrow, the biggest symbols of hope and life in the entire universe, are converted into Black Lanterns. All their power, all their influence, now serves death.
So what do you do now? I mean, seriously, what's the plan? The people you count on, the titans who have saved the world more times than you can count, are now actively trying to end it. It's a completely impossible situation.
But you know, when you're facing absolute darkness, a single flicker of light isn't going to cut it. The answer has to be something bigger. And this is where we get to the amazing climax. All those warring Lantern Corps who have been mortal enemies for years realize they have a choice: stand together or get wiped out by the void.
See, the only way to fight the total absence of emotion is with the overwhelming presence of all of it. Rage, greed, fear, will, hope, compassion, and love. They have to combine their lights, creating a force that Nekron's darkness just can't stamp out.
And when they do that, it creates the white light of life, the actual, original creative force that sparked existence at the very beginning of time. And it's Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern right at the center of that spectrum, who manages to harness it, becoming the White Lantern.
Wielding the literal power of life itself, Hal severs Nekron's connection to our world and defeats him. The Black Lanterns just crumble to dust. And in the end, the white light doesn't just send the dead back to their graves, it grants true life to 12 fallen heroes and villains, including Aquaman, Martian Manhunter, and Hawkman.
So why do we still talk about Blackest Night all these years later? Why is it one of the most celebrated comic events ever? Because it's about so much more than some cosmic zombie apocalypse. It's a really deep look at life, death, and what it means to feel.
I mean, the story just masterfully shows how our own grief can be turned against us. But it also argues that life isn't about just sticking to the good emotions like hope or willpower. No, it's about the entire messy, complicated, beautiful spectrum. It says that survival depends on unity, and that living itself is an active choice, the choice to feel everything, the good and the bad.
And that right there is the whole point. When faced with a force that literally feeds on your feelings, the only way to win wasn't to shut down and go numb. It was to feel more, to feel everything, all at once. That's how you beat death, not by ignoring it, but by living so completely that the darkness has nowhere left to go.